I'd be in less than, not even a year later, after winning a national championship in Tuscaloosa. I'd be there in the morning mopping the floors, and they'd be like, "Man, you look really familiar." I got, that's not a dog, that's not a goldfish. I can't just flush it down the toilet. You know what I mean? I'm responsible for his life, how he, and ultimately the human that he will become. And I just wanted to do right by him, by being there, being able to provide. So, it wasn't hard for me to swallow my ego. And, like a year after, I had him when I was a senior in college. Then I tried to make the NFL thing work. And then when I came back, like I said, I took whatever work I could do, I could get, because, I got a mouth to feed.
Yep.
So, man, was a janitor up at LabCorp here in downtown Birmingham. And, I'd be in less than, not even a year later, after winning a national championship in Tuscaloosa. I'd be there in the morning mopping the floors, and they'd be like, "Man, you look really familiar. Are you that guy from Alabama?" And I'm like, yeah. But I never really that gets really annoying. And they'd be like, "Why are you working here?" Like, do you think I would be here if I had a choice?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, man, it's just like a bullet that I had to bite, and, a real, shot to my ego.
Yeah.
If you will, but at the same time, like I said, I have a bigger responsibility and a bigger job. So being able to do what I had to do for him, if I didn't have him, man, I could have just got by on my own, doing whatever. But, he was young enough, he wouldn't even know if I didn't tell him, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, I really just wanted to stay out of trouble. I just wanted to, make enough money so that, I could take care of him and still be able to train and whatnot. So just whatever I could do, I did.